Hi everyone, Farmer Allen here. Today we're at Avondale Elementary and we're going to learn how to earn our bug detective badge. But first, what is a bug? Here's one now. And this is actually an insect. Most things that we call bugs are actually insects. And we know an insect is an insect because it will have 6 legs, it will have 3 body parts, a head, a thorax, an abdomen. It will have a pair of antennae on their head. Sometimes they will have wings. Not all insects have wings. And all insects will go through a development phase called metamorphosis. But we'll talk more about that in a little bit. A lot of things we call bugs aren't insects at all. Let's take the spider for example. We know it's not an insect because an insect has 6 legs. How many legs does a spider have? 8! That's right, 8 legs. So we know it is not an insect, it is an arachnid. Other popular arachnids include scorpions and ticks. Another bug that is not an insect is the earthworm. How many legs does an earthworm have? 0. It is an annelid, which is also related to leeches. Ugh. Now, there are things that we call bugs that are actually true bugs, and they are also insects. They include the stink bug, the aphid, the leaf-footed bug, and so many more. We find these a lot in the farm. Now, do you think the true bugs are helpful or not helpful on the farm? Well, let's talk about them a little bit. The true bug is an insect that has 6 legs. They all have wings. They all have antennae. One thing that's different about them from a lot of insects is their mouth. They have a proboscis-style mouth that acts like a straw that they will stab into fruits and leaves and suck it from the inside out. So they will literally eat our fruits from the inside. But other bugs that we think of as being kind of scary or creepy, like spiders or praying mantises or even some wasps, are actually predators to these true bugs. So, the true bugs are not helpful. The spiders, praying mantises, and wasps, very helpful. Now let's go on a bug hunt and see what we can find. All right, we found some true bugs here on the teaching farm. We'll take a closer look and see what we found. So you see we have some leaf-footed bugs, and these leaf-footed bugs are in the nymph stage of development, which means they're basically teenagers. And hanging out with them is a harlequin beetle, also a young stage. Both of these insects are considered pests, which means they are not helpful. The harlequin beetle will eat the plants, and again, the leaf-footed bugs are true bugs, so they will use their proboscis mouth to suck the juices out of the leaves. As a bug detective on the farm, we have to look for clues. And one of the clues that we look for is damage on our plants. Here, this cabbage has a lot of holes in it. Something has been eating it. We need to look for it, see what we can find, and there it is. The villain of our cabbage, the cabbage looper. This little caterpillar can do a lot of damage in a very short amount of time. It needs to eat as much as it can so that it can transform into a moth. A good bug detective needs to hone their observation skills because some of these bugs are really hard to find, like the aphids, for example. The aphids are also a true bug, so they will stab the leaves with their proboscis and drink the juices out of the leaves. But they will also be farmed by ants. Ants actually treat them like livestock. They will carry the aphids to a host plant and allow them to feed so that the ants can then drink nectar from the aphids. Kind of like we do with cows. Weird, huh? Now let's take a closer look at these aphids. You can see why it would be so difficult to find them because they're so tiny. I mean, they're like the size of a pinhead, so small, and often they can also be very well camouflaged. A lot of the times, aphids are green, same color as the leaves, and sometimes they will hide on the underside of the leaves. Here, we're lucky to find them on the top of the stems in sort of a gray color, and then over on this plant here, we have them sort of a darker black color. so much easier to find these aphids, but yet you can still see very small, very difficult to find. So be sure to keep those observation skills honed on finding all sorts of pests. Some bugs are nocturnal, which means they're only active at night. They can be hard to find in the daytime if you don't know where to look, but the best place to look are under rocks, logs, and in this case, a sheet of plywood. Let's take a peek. Here we have two nocturnal creatures, the roly-poly, which is a myriapod. The myriapods have many legs. So the word myriapod comes from the word myriad, which means many, and pod, which means feet, so many feet. Other myriapods include the centipede and the millipede. And over here we have a snail. Snails are gastropods, gastro meaning stomach, pod meaning feet, so stomach foot. Other gastropod would be the slug. Now let's talk about metamorphosis. Earlier we found the nymph of a leaf-footed bug, and we found the caterpillar of a cabbage looper moth. Well, those were both examples of stages of metamorphosis. There are two types, complete metamorphosis and incomplete metamorphosis. First, let's talk about complete metamorphosis. Here, we have the Gulf fritillary caterpillar. The Gulf fritillary is a beautiful orange and black butterfly, and as you can see, you see some of those colors in its larva. The caterpillar is also called the larva. So the caterpillar will emerge from an egg, eat a bunch of food, grow big and strong, and then it will form a chrysalis, just like this one. And in this stage, we call that the pupa. And as you know, after a few weeks in here, the caterpillar will emerge as a beautiful butterfly. So it goes from egg to larva to pupa and then adult. Now let's talk about incomplete metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis is like the leaf-footed bug we saw. It goes from egg to nymph to adult. And an easy way to remember that is kind of like us and other animals. Think of a dog. Does a puppy look like a dog? Yes, because it is. But it has 4 legs, it has fur, it just grows up. So a nymph is the same way. It looks like the adult, it's only smaller. It will grow into an adult. So remember, complete metamorphosis, the young look nothing like the adult. And in incomplete metamorphosis, they look pretty much the same, just smaller. Now it's your turn. Get out there and explore and see what kind of bugs you can find. Can you find some helpful and non-helpful insects? How about an arachnid, or a myriapod, or even a gastropod? Get out there and explore and become a bug detective.